So I have decided after all to keep going with the One Piece videos. We are about halfway through the East Blue Saga, which I'm going with the Library of O'Hara's numbering for the arcs, which takes me a little bit out of sync with what is written on the volumes. But it's going to end after 101, and we're about 50 something. Partly I've decided to keep going because I am a bit of a completionist, and it feels like a little bit of an itch in the back of my brain at the idea of not doing that, which is something that I probably should be pushing back against more than I am, but I'm tired and I don't really want to be starting a fight with my brain. It was also quite a few years ago, and I don't know, I think it's long enough now that in my head I'm like, I don't want to hold you to what you did at that point. I also don't know your motivations for it. I will say, however, I did have a little look around. Everyone who's like, it's fine, rancid ass opinions. Rancid ass. Also, I don't think really understanding how to human. Like, oh, if your dad did that, you'd still love your dad. Yeah. And nobody was really saying that Oda was a bad person for feeling whatever way he did. It was more talking about the actions he took. And like, you know those two things are different, right? One of them's private and one of them is a paycheck. Speaking of the itch in my brain, that's for completing the reading on my manga series, not for completing One Piece. My volumes, my omnibus volumes, go up to volume 50 something, and after that we are going to stop. Like, I'm probably going to keep reading O'Hara Ride, and I'll vlog those, once we get to the end of this. I'm not going to touch One Piece for any more videos after this. So if you're looking for someone to like go through the still ongoing series, I'm not the person for that. There are going to be 5 videos because I did split East Blue in half. But 5 videos total. If you follow me in other places, not just here, you might have seen that I immediately put this onto currently reading, but I haven't actually been reading it. So we are starting today, 7th of the 3rd. I'm just saying that mostly to like remind myself to change the dates on Goodreads and such. But yeah, I didn't actually start reading. I wanted to kind of sort out in my head what I was going to do. I knew that the assistants would sometimes stay overnight. I didn't know that they weren't like always there. It's interesting, especially given some of the more recent manga that I've been reading. There's 2, and I can't remember. Blue Lock has like a dedicated page for like additional credits. These are people who have helped with the art. These are people who have helped with the editing, and I really think it's about time. I say that they probably came out like a few years ago, but yeah, it is about time, and I'm glad that manga has come to that point. So my first thought was that has to be painful. And then my second thought was Oh, I hope there's a dye workwear in the One Piece world. When I first got to Nami's backstory, I cried, and there's still something, like, it's still working to an extent. There are like really powerful moments in it, but I cannot get over the mum's death. Because that's it. I can understand not wanting to drag it out longer, but that really wrecks it. Because, like, the thing that would make you a good mum, the thing that you're so concerned about being, would be to be there for your children. Not, like, get yourself killed in front of them. And I think it's also the fact that she didn't even try. She was just like, well, odds are bad. I don't know. I feel the same with Luffy. Sorry, I'm just remembering that in the show they were saying Luffy. I can't, no, because that just sounds ridiculous to me. But I was. He doesn't need to know her past. He was just waiting for her to ask for help. I think there's something really strong in that, but it's not quite working for me. I've really been enjoying this. I do kind of wonder. I know that the crew gets much bigger, especially in present day. I don't think it gets that much bigger for the volumes that I have. But I do wonder with like these massive, you know, these massive like fights, just how it's going to go when more people join, because they've been doing like, you know, Sanji and Zoro and then Usopp, you know, like taking it one by one. And I think it's at a certain point that's maybe not going to work as well. But I mean, I think they were excellent fights, and I really liked the way they were getting their asses kicked as well. The danger to Luffy, especially. What I'm not liking at this particular moment, having just finished like chapter 91, is that Nami kind of finally pulled herself together and was like, I'm going to fight as well. And that's when Luffy comes into the fight. And so she's just been forgotten about a little. However, this is so sweet. I love that. I love that. I also really just I love this because I didn't realize you could like live in it. And it just looks so fun. So actually her gathering herself up, ready to fight, and then not getting to. I'm okay with that. I'm always going to be leery about that kind of thing happening in shonen. But it's been 8 years. I think it's nice that she got to just sit back and watch rather than, you know, like, and just enjoy the victory rather than have to keep fighting herself. I'm okay with it. So my thoughts with the last omnibus was that this was kind of really where the manga was finding its stride, with a lot more like character work and heart. And yeah, I know I didn't expect it to make me cry. But that was like the perfect send off. A conversation that I've seen happen more and more often in regards to shonen is that it doesn't really, they're kind of meant to go on forever in a way, and so, you know, with quite a few series ending, people are, you know, not entirely satisfied, and that has to do with like the sprawling casts. which is why I really like the little, what do you call them again? The little interludes, I'm gonna say, in the chapter titles, like Kobe and Helmeppo. I do really like them as little, you know, shorter stories going on so that you can keep track of people. Obviously, a new buggy was unfortunately going to return. I didn't realise it was so soon, and I do, like, I am really enjoying the chaos of this. I'm also a little bit. Well, first things first, I think I put together quite a cute outfit for today, so um, it is too hot though. So, as I was saying, I really like the short interludes for keeping us up to date with like important characters. I also really love that it's been used as like a lead-in for this current crop. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this current moment, wherein it looks like a Deus Ex Machina for Luffy. I don't mind that he was saved, obviously, but I also just, it's good in the sense that it's not like taking away from the action. Obviously, this is like now a madcap race to the port, but I don't know. I don't like them kind of floating around the idea that, you know, this is also coming after like a little kind of cameo appearance of his island where he came from, and the mayor being like, oh, is it his dream that he's chasing, or is this destiny? And I don't like that. I don't think, I like this as a story of like ambition more than I like it as a story of like, oh well, of course he's going to be the king of the pirates. He's born to be king of the pirates, you know? But speaking of things coming back, I do like that we've been introduced to this woman who reminds Zolo of his friend who kind of started him on his journey. On the other hand, like, I'm really excited to see this woman and where she goes, but also it is kind of funny because it's like, oh, he sees her and she's, you know, she looks like, but also, don't they all kind of, don't most of the women kind of have a bit of same face syndrome? I don't know. I love that chapter 100 is like the legend begins. That must have felt so great to realise, you know, this is it. And we've got it on 100 exact. Okay, so we are done with the East Blue arc now, and I don't know what to think. Obviously, I read this series before, up and past this point. At this particular section of the series, it's more like the chapter divisions that are, you know, that were playing on my mind, because there were 2 chapters in that volume where this was ending. And so I knew that the chase scene to the boat, the mad rush, was going to be like a really mad rush, because we only had 2 chapters to wind it up. It is the first time that I've read this and thought, oh, this is going to be better animated, which is a shame. But I do think, I mean, I really like the sea monsters because it's such a mad series, and seeing like sea monsters is just like this great prelude to actually getting to the Grand Line. But I don't know, it really felt rushed in a way that the rest of it hasn't. So I think for me it ends a little bit disappointingly. Also, I don't think what makes a good stories, like checking off, like everybody gets equal this. Although I think if it's, if there's like a clear preference in like character attention, I think that can be indicative of like a bad story. I think it is really interesting that Zoro has like Dracule Mihawk, and he has this woman from um, the Navy, and now he has like all of these swords that he wants to collect. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really interesting that he's got all this, and obviously we spent a lot of time focusing on Nami, but like for Usopp, he doesn't have like a goal specific that's right now. He's just like, I want to be brave and I want to adventure the seas. And the Sanji is looking for the All Blue, which is a sea with all the fish in the world in it. And Luffy, like, his goal as well, it's not immediate. I think that's what I mean. Whereas, like, it feels, obviously they're being chased by the Navy, but like, it feels a lot more in the moment important for Zoro. And also, it feels a little bit unbalanced at the moment. Obviously, again, we're in the Grand Line now. Things are probably going to start changing. This is also about when I got into One Piece, because I started with the anime and obviously Vivi. So I'm looking forward to a lot of things that are coming up. But yeah, it's just some things that I'm going to be keeping an eye out for